Morning, beautiful. It's good to see you again at the 11 o'clock Thursday morning Facebook Live. This week we are talking about, we're continuing the conversation about creating your office and making it a space that you enjoy and that you love. So today we're talking a little bit about the storage solutions involved in your office. So glad to see that we've already got somebody who's hopped online, and I know that there are a couple more. Oh, hi Ruth. I know that there are a couple more coming. But storage in the office can be really difficult. The problem with some offices, such as mine, are the limited space. We rent this house, so there's only so much we can do as far as space is concerned. So you're going to get an actual view of my personal office. I think everything should be viewable by anyone. You might find out some of my secrets of things coming up for the business in the future. But you'll get to see a couple of the unique ways that I have organized my own office due to either lack of space or because I'm also a very creative thinker. So traditional storage does not work for me. If you have a filing cabinet, that's not how I roll. I do that for simply the very archive files that have to be kept in hard form. I do not do that for my daily files because I'm not likely to keep it up. I'm an out of sight, out of mind type of a person. And I'm also the type of person who gets really, really bored with a filing system. So I can set them up for others and I really enjoy doing it. I love to set up a system, but I know for me, when it comes to actually using a system, I really need one that's got a little bit more personality and flair and flexibility because I change it frequently as my needs change because my business is constantly going to a new step or growth or some new adventure. So I have to be able to keep up with that. And you'll see some of my solutions reflect the fact that I do have an ever-changing business and an ever-changing life. So let's get started. I'm actually going to carry you with me for a quick tour of some of the things I do in my place. Here we are. All right. Now, one of the first things that I mentioned was that I am not in love with filing. I actually strongly hate filing in my own office. I love filing for a client, but it's not the same when it's your own. So this is from Amazon. I actually use this wall hanging unit. It's made for classrooms. So it's a wall classroom organizer. And I use it just to hold my file folders so that they're in sight and I don't forget about them and they're easy to reach because my chair is right here. So all I have to do is spin. I can tuck things into the folder that they need to be in as soon as I get them so they don't end up in a pile and they get captured for when I'm ready for that task. So some of the things that I have things like my goals. Right now my goal notebook's not in here because I had my mastermind group this morning with my friend Rochelle, but my goals book lives in here so I can review it frequently and stay on track and inspired because those of you who've worked for yourself, you know sometimes it's really tough during the tougher times to stay motivated. So this priority. I have things like my health records, my bookkeeping, my taxes, and then as we get down, there's things like to read. Some of them are the action files. Those of you who've heard my action files, either Facebook Live or worked with me, you know the action to read, to do, to file. That's incorporated in here as well. Marketing, hiring, training, they're all right here. And you'll see that the labels, I don't use a label maker. I use instead Post-it tape. This is it. So it's paper tape that can come back off really easily. You just write on it, peel it right back off when you're done. Doesn't leave a mark. It's super easy to put on and off. And that way I'm not pulling out the label maker all the time with my ever-changing business or changing needs. I use this on so many things, it's kind of ridiculous. But Post-it tape and a Sharpie, that's all you need. Again, Amazon, probably Walmart, all of those inexpensive places have it. Next, again, that out of sight, out of mind problem, and I happen to be human. I don't know if you are too, but I imagine most of you are. As a human, if it's not easy, I'm going to put it off because that's just how we roll. So some of my really quick bins are within reach. I have my magazine holders. So these magazine holders are much easier for me to slide papers in and out of than a file folder. So these are for some of my larger categories, and one of them is to do. So anything that is to do that's not my immediate today item goes in to do. And then I have on my calendar once a week, I review what's in the to do bin, and I put it on my list of what day I'm going to do it on, and I pull it out of there. And then anything that does not need to be done yet can stay right in this magazine holder. And then during the review is also a good purge time, because there are some things where I realize, you know what, I'm not going to do it. I don't want to do it. It's no longer that interesting, and it's not moving me towards my goal, so it can go. I also have to shred and to scan, and both of those, the rule is just when it gets full, it gets done. These are the things that happen in the office. So the mail, I have my shredder right next to my mail bin, so that gets done right away. But to shred from in the office goes in here, and when it gets full, then I either shred it or drop it off at a shredding service and consider it done. But until it's full, I don't care. It can just live in there forever and die in there. It's not going anywhere. It's safe. So those are my filing systems. And I'm very paperless, so there's not a whole lot of filing that happens, but the filing that does need to happen, those are the places. Now, notes. Even though I'm a paperless person, and I've taught courses about paperless on lynda.com, and if you hand me a flyer, I'm probably going to take a PDF photo of it with my PDF scanner app and hand it back to you to save a tree and not have to carry it home. I am definitely still a paper person. I do best when I can handwrite notes and thoughts. So I have a couple of things that I use for that to keep both my notes organized and to make my office a lot less cluttered. All those post-it notes and little notes written on the backs of envelopes, those are a killer when it comes to organizing them. If you don't quickly put them into the right file, then they simply become clutter and you're going to lose them. It's just going to stress you out. So I'm the queen of notebooks. I love notebooks. You probably saw the convention live where I have my convention notebook. Yeah. But each of these notebooks has a theme. So, for example, this is my blog notebook, and I have a little tab so I can see that it's for the blog, and all of my thoughts that have to do with the blog go in there. That I used to go to a blog meetup. I actually used to run it, and all of my notes from the meetings would go in there. Any ideas that I had whenever I'm brainstorming, it's all in that blog notebook. And each of these notebooks has its own theme. Sometimes it's personal growth oriented, like this is my one from the Sedona method when I did that book, and I loved that book. So I kept the notebook because it's one of those books that you would review again and do again. But each notebook has its own theme. If I'm writing a course, I have my current course that I'm writing, because I handwrite all of my ideas and brainstorming and bullet points first before they hit the typed page. And that's in the process. So, and it looks much neater than a pile of papers just floating around. Once I'm done with the notebook, I can pull out the old notes, scan what I need to, and make it a new topic. Not a problem at all. And then, if you've seen, I've done several speeches about technology with productivity, which one of my favorite topics. Anybody who's seen me speak on this knows that I can go absolutely wild with this one, and there's never enough time to talk about it all. But this was actually a gift from my husband. Before he was even my husband, he knew me so well. This is by Rocketbook. It's called Everlast. This notebook, this is probably the most expensive thing that I'm going to talk about today, and it's not even that expensive. But you can go to rocketbook.com. This notebook is my all the time notebook. And the reason why is because it's erasable. And it's easily erasable. So when I write my notes, then once I'm done with this page, there's a couple of options. I can either use the app and scan it to one of the services I already have set up and linked. You can link to Evernote, to your email, to Dropbox. There's so many places you can link to. And you just mark which box you want it to scan to, and it'll automatically upload it. Or I can just erase it without even scanning it first. And to erase it, you take a wet cloth and just wipe it. And that's all you have to do. It's so wonderful. So that notebook, as you can see, I've got all my tabs for the different projects and the days of the week. So I know what I'm doing and when I'm doing it, and I can just reuse this over and over and over. And I love this one. Clutter-free, super easy to store notes that are temporary notes or that are going to be scanned. I think that you probably saw my blog post on this one, so I'll talk about this one super quick, but it's one I set up for almost all of my clients in some form. For me, it's in the office as well as many other places in the home. It's the over-the-door shoe organizer. Again, thank you, Jeff. Again, I got this from Amazon, extremely inexpensive. I always use the ones with the clear pockets because then you don't have to label anything. You can see exactly what's in them, but this is perfect for office supplies. All right, sorry about that, the connection again, but I've got my reading glasses because I'm getting old, so I've got plenty of reading glasses. I've got my pen refills. I've got all of these different things, and I don't have to figure out what's in each. I can just see it. Over-the-door shoe organizer. Another thing, if you are a networker, I actually have a networking purse. This is a purse that I only bring with me when I network because in it I have my name badge, I've got a little bit of cash, I've got my business cards, I've got note cards so I can make notes on who I met and any ideas that I came up with as far as how to work with them or how to refer business to them and support them, pen, and all of those little things. And then throughout the event, I just put things in that purse and I can just clean that out when I get home and follow up with whoever I met that I wanted to make sure to connect with. So, specific purse just for networking, and it always lives right there because I do end up going between speaking and networking. I end up going to a lot of different places, and it's handy to just grab that and not forget my name badge or my cards or have to clean cards out of another bag that isn't intending to be for networking. And over here, well, first off, we could say hi. This is my dog, Elby. He's knocked over the pillow, and I organize my dogs too. He's out of place at the moment, but right now Solo is in his place. So there's Solo. He's in his place. But my dogs have a spot in the office, and it's really good to be able to work with them here, and they have an area to get out of my way as well. So in here, this is loud. The nice old style closet doors. Yep, I've got those. So this right here is the closet. Now within the closet, again, that over the door organizer, except this time instead of using the door, I just nailed it up. So they're hanging from nails. That works so well. I mean, I've got that in my cleaning closet as well. It really helps out. And that holds some of the supplies that I don't use as often. And then I've got, this is probably my shameful part, I've got more notebooks. I do. I'm sorry. Yeah. So that's my notebook stash that aren't active. But within the closet, one of the things that I need to do is I need to add a little bit more space because the top shelf, while it is organized, it's not very functional. And there's more that I could be doing with that space. Like the Legos for Christmas don't need to be there all year on the shelf that's easiest to reach. So one of the projects that I have coming up that I do with almost every client who has one of those very basic closet homes with the one shelf that is, it's just never very effective. The easiest, quickest fix, add a shelf. So this shelf is easy to do on your own from the hardware store. Just buy it, they'll cut it down for you, or you could cut it down yourself and just install it right above the shelf. So right about there, make sure to leave enough gap between the top of the closet and where the shelf starts so that you can actually get things in there. But once that shelf is on there, it's okay if you need a ladder or a step stool to get to the things on there because up there goes the memorabilia, the Christmas presents, all of the random stuff. That's you too, Teresa? Yeah, I think that's a lot of us. But that's where all of that stuff that you use just very rarely can go, and it's a super quick fix. It's amazing how much storage you can add. So watch the blog because there might be a how-to or video, we'll see how hilarious it may end up being because I'm a clumsy person by nature. I'll be installing this shelf and I'll try to share it with you as well so that you can install them in your own home. But those are some of the ways that I use storage in my office. I think the main thing with storage though is simply just make it yours. Use storage projects that you enjoy, that bring you joy. You'll notice a lot of my things don't match, and that's on purpose. I am not the type of person who wants all of my organizing items to match. It's just not who I am. So feel free, get things that are fun and different and don't match, and get things that may be a little bit different than the use that they were meant for, like the magazine holders. Can be done, you can use it for so much. I've used them for canned goods inside of a pantry. You just plop them on their side and fit the cans in, and it'll hold a lot more cans than if they were standing up. You can use them for toys. Some of Kayla's toys are in magazine holders a lot of the time. So when you look at items, think about what else they can do. And when you have a need in the office, think about what the function is that you need. So for me, for example, the questions I asked when I was trying to find myself the file holder, which ended up being the school cascading file holder, I realized I need something that keeps it in sight, something because this office is small and it's shared. My assistant works out of this office too. So it needed to be low profile and not take up a lot of space. It needed to be easy, and it needed to not be permanent. Because it's a rental, I don't necessarily want holes in the wall or to build a system. So thinking within those parameters, as I was browsing through things, all of a sudden when I saw this, I thought, I bet, even though that's meant for all these games, I bet that would work for the file folders because it meets all those criteria. So think about that as you are finding creative solutions for your office. Another one, are you a notebook junkie too, Teresa? Yeah, that is probably one of my biggest shames. I am a huge notebook junkie, so I try not to go near the notebooks. Another thing that I did, actually, my whiteboard that you see behind me is just a picture frame with a background in it. So that's glass that I write on. There's no actual whiteboard material there. So make it fun. Think creatively and just surround yourself with joy when you're creating your office. Whatever makes you happy is right. It doesn't matter if Martha Stewart would have it in her magazine or not, because trust me, Martha is not stopping by my office anytime soon. But my office functions really well and it makes me very happy. So keep creating joy in your space. We spend so much time in the office, it should be one of the more joyful places in your life. Even if you work in an office outside of the home or that you don't have as much control over, creating the wallpapers on your desktop or using some supplies that make you happy can make all the difference in your joy. I hope that I see you again next week. I'm not sure if you saw it, but this week I also announced that we have a new service in our normal service areas. So Orlando and Tampa, primarily Ocala, will be added on soon. But our new service is a maintenance service. So if you don't need full-on organizing, where it's pulling everything out, making decisions, setting up systems, but you need a little bit of something, and it's more than a maid service would do, where your maid service can't be really effective. This is for you. It's our maintenance services, and what it is doing all those little things around your house that you just get backed up on. It might be folding and putting away your laundry for you. It could be clearing off the counter and putting that stuff away. It could be helping you clear out the fridge and getting that done. Little maintenance projects around the house. You know that picture frame that you've been meaning to hang up and you haven't gotten around to it? That's what we're for. So all those little piles around your house, or the mail that's piling up that you have to get around to doing, sending out those RSVPs, calling the utility company to ask about an error, we can do all of that and help you out. If you're interested in that, give us a call, and I look forward to seeing you soon. And, what did you say? So Holly hasn't been able to find one of the classroom organizers in store, and you're going to Amazon. Oh, I'm so glad. Please let me know if you find it on Amazon, and if I do, I'll try to post a link here too, because that was probably one of my favorite finds last year. It was just such a huge difference. But I will see you next time. Have a wonderful day. Keep creating your space with joy and making it reflect who you really are and what you want to be. I will see you Thursday, 11 a.m. And this time I may be in the car on the road. So it's going to be a special road trip version of Facebook Live. I will see you then. Have a wonderful week and be blessed.